All right, guys, once again, the BMW i7 M70. Let's dive right in. You've seen the first video from last night, but I wanted to spend a little bit more time with the car. So maybe let's recap some of the things. So what do we have here? This is the top of the line electric car from BMW, and it's M-electrified a little bit. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's making 650 horsepower and a massive 1100 Newton meters of torque. And as you can imagine, it takes this car from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds. Speaking of the drivetrain, all electric, all-wheel drive. It goes for about 295 miles on electric range on the EPA rating, and I believe about 560 kilometers on the WLTP. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the top-of-the-line product when it comes to electric cars at BMW. Of course, they wanted to make it a little bit more special. So what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, it's getting a two-tone color. You might have seen our previous video with another 7 Series. It's a very expensive paint job, especially in Europe. It's about 12,000 euros, but you are getting a very unique combination. And on this car, specific to this car, you're getting liquid copper, which is somewhat similar to what we might have seen on the i8 Roadster back in the day. And of course, it's paired with this black sapphire on top. They make for a perfect combination on this car. Not only it makes the car really stand out, but I've seen the photos from Dubai actually, and it looks really good under the sun, and very, very unique proposition. Of course, it's an M product, so there are a few things that were adjusted for the car to be M specific, and of course that starts with the front end, as you've seen, you know, M Sport package, you've seen it on the other 7 Series products, but once again, very bold, very massive, lots of air intakes right there. And then of course you have this massive Kine grille, and it's getting this really tiny contour, which is an illuminated Kine grille that you've seen on other products as well. No changes to the crystal lights, split headlights, once again, top daytime running lights, and you have the headlamps hidden right there. Very unique proposition when it comes to the 7 Series or the X7. Now let's move to the side. Maybe let's take a side view and talk a little bit more about the car. Once again, you have some M-specific wheels right here. A nice combination, two-tone, black and silver chromish. Of course, plenty of M logos. This one, it's a 21-inch. You can go higher than that if you want to. More M badges, of course, being an M product, they want to make sure that you see that. We've talked about this in the previous video as well. Same M-style mirrors. So clearly, they want to emphasize once again the M, character of the car, or the M DNA, if you want to call it that way. Of course, you can see the side view right now, and you can see this really nice coach line. You can see the split in between the two colors. And again, this is what it really stands out on its own. And you can see how luxurious looking and premium looking it actually really is. Of course, you have all these tech bits from the normal 7 Series. I don't know if it's open or not, but of course, you have the door that opens when you move out of the way. No surprise there. Of course, I can do this if I want to, and I can close it from inside. I'm gonna go inside and show a little bit more about that, but that's just kind of like a fun fact. How about we do it one more time, because BMW decided to make it fun for us, so why not? Here we go. I have to move out of the way because there is a sensor on the bottom right there. So once that detects me, then it's just not gonna want to open the door, because it's assuming there is a pedestrian or a car coming, so it wants to protect the door for you. Of course, now I can either close it from here, or I can just go back, and let's do it from here maybe. And you can see it just closing up. Neat trick. Of course, you can use the key, and you can use that key to open all doors. You can use the iDrive system inside, and you can open 2 doors, 4 doors, however many you want to. Very configurable car. Same thing as you've seen on the other 7 Series. Other interesting tidbits on the car, it's got a max range mode, which is going to debut in the i7 M70, but it's going to end up in other i7 products. So essentially that max range mode, it's a new driving mode that will put an emphasis on the driving range versus power. So you'll try to dial back on the power of the car to make sure that you maximize that range. I joked about this a little bit earlier today with Marcus Flash, who is now in charge of all these products. And I said that the max range mode in my BMW i3, it's really me turning off the heating and just wearing gloves, a hat, and a jacket, so that's my max range mode, as a fun joke right there. Maybe not that funny, but still. All right, so if we go to the back, typical BMW i7 design, but of course you are getting this M70L. So let's start with this. Funny, on the M760E, you had the 7 being quite large. Now it's got the same font as the other one. On this one, I'm not sure why, but I'm gonna ask them in the future. Why the L? I've explained it before, maybe you've missed that video, but I'm gonna tell you one more time, because the Chinese market is so used to the long wheelbase, so they decided to keep that in the naming convention just so they don't have to answer the question, is it long wheelbase, short wheelbase? Because right now the 7 Series it's got just one wheelbase and that's it. And this is the long version basically. Of course, it's an electric car, so there are no pipes, very clean design there. You have a really nice, actually sculpted diffuser, so I actually like that quite a bit. Black painted, kind of piano black, so it gives the car more of a luxurious look. And then you can see here really how the liquid copper really stands out. It's a beautiful color, really, really beautiful color. I think they've done a great job emphasizing this one. It's not too blingy, and honestly, it just fits the character of the car quite nicely. You have this really subtle, rear spoiler. Of course, it's an M performance car, so they wanted to emphasize that through this. Not bad at all, actually. And then, of course, you have the typical BMW L-shaped, in a way, taillights kind of stick out a little bit, very aerodynamic, really nice graphics all around. With that being said, let's go inside in the front seat first, because I want to show you a new feature there, and then we're going to go in the back seat. I want to show you my favorite feature there. Let's take a look. All right, so let's kick it off right now immediately with something that I like in this car, and that's really this fabric. So it's cashmere, and as you can see, it's got a really nice combination with leather. So same leather here, same on the sides, and it's really very unique combination in the car. I've talked about this in the past, how many people or how many customers they were thinking about, hey, cashmere is not really premium, it's not luxurious, we want leather and leather and more leather. But once you sit inside and you experience this new fabric, it's actually very luxurious, very premium, and it just feels good. I mean, if you drive this car, I had a chance to drive it in the past with a beige color, maybe Silverstone, and I really enjoyed it, especially it was so hot in Palm Springs, and it was nicely cooled and all of that. So I definitely encourage you to experience this if you have a chance at the dealership and try it out. You're also getting a brand new trim here, unique to this one. It might end up in other i7s from what I understand, but it's a combination of carbon with some silver inserts. So the idea is, once again, they want it to be sporty with a carbon fiber, but at the same time, they wanted to add that luxury touch which comes from the silver. Of course, gold would have been a little bit too much, so I'm actually happy that they've done only the silver. Now, when we're talking about new things in the cars, that's going to be the iDrive 8.5. So I actually have a full demo, probably an exclusive, world exclusive on the 8.5. I had a chance to speak with the Senior Vice President of BMW Digital Services, or Connected Company as it's being called internally. And I'm going to leave a link to that, or you can check it out and you can see what's been changed. But one thing that's new in the car is this thing called Quick Select, which is a reinterpretation of how you handle the tiles. So instead of having them lined up one extra for each other, you have a main screen basically, which is the navigation screen, and then you have a combination of the quick select on the left side, but you can see it in that demo. Other than that, really your typical i7. I mentioned that in my previous video, so I'm not gonna try to repeat myself too much, but M Sport steering wheel, flat bottom, love this. M stitching all around, so always nice to see in a BMW sports car. And I guess that's about it from the front. I guess the next thing will be to kind of go in the back seat. I'm hoping that the kid's inside and we can operate the theater screen, because once again, that's my favorite feature probably when it comes to the interior design. Let's check it out. So you can see right there, you can close it from there. Of course, you have this touchpad, something that I've talked about in the past, but I skipped it in the previous video. I wanted to be a little bit quick as far as the information, but nonetheless, you can activate this and you can operate the different driving modes, including the theater screen up there. And essentially it's all the way down right now, so I'm not going to change it. It's in Chinese, so I'll try to find my way around it as much as possible. I guess it's the home, and then you have a bunch of apps here. Clearly they're unique to the Chinese markets, so no surprise there. Some of the cars in China, they run kind of their own operating system, still based on the BMW 1, but with a UI specific to the Chinese market, and for the apps available here. So once again, you can see here, I guess this is the Hawaii. I'm not sure what it does. Also, it's got a bunch of things in there. It's probably streaming and all of that. There is a way to change the language. I just don't know my way around this. I'm not going to try to beat the system right now. But essentially, it's an 8K resolution. You can adjust the screen. You can have it all full screen. You can change a different type of resolution. You can change the format from widescreen to more squarish. You can move the content from one side to another. I don't remember if I can move it with a finger or not, but you kind of get the idea. There are a bunch of settings here. Once again, it's in Chinese, so I'm not sure what to do with this one. But that's the theater screen. You can experience this in English in your own i7 or 7 Series, and I would say it's the centerpiece of the car. All right, so once again, BMW i7 M70, it's available in the US. There is no pricing yet on the car. We do know that the i7-60 starts about $119,000, so I expect this one to be a lot higher. The next step in my journey with the car is really to go and test the car, so hopefully I have a chance to do that very, very soon. I'm excited to see how it compares as far as the top speed and all the speed compared to the regular i7. So with that being said, once again, live from the Shanghai Motor Show. Stay tuned, we'll have a lot more content coming up. See you soon.